Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you very, very much once again for joining this wonderful live session. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy because, yes, the new year 2025 has started, and a lot of people have been talking about the Gregorian calendar, even though we, for instance, we don't really know much of it. But what I'm trying to say is the new year has started, and Canada is already opening its doors little by little. Do you understand? Peu que à peu que, as they will say, petit à petit en français, little by little in French. So they have started opening their doors. We are now seeing some provinces that are actually or they have not selected, but they will soon start selecting. Do you understand? And this is something that I'm so happy about because last week, for those that actually joined our live session last week, we talked extensively about how you need to prepare before what? Before provinces start selecting. I still talked about it last week when I said that some people will see some obstacles, and instances of the province I was talking about last week was Quebec, the province of Quebec. If you remember, we're on Instagram and we're on TikTok for those that are joining. So we're on live sessions A.O.S Abroad. That's why you may see me looking at this side, looking at this side, looking at this side. So as I was saying, I said the province we were focused on last week was the province of Quebec, because I was on a live session where I was talking about the fact that yes, Quebec have actually stopped inviting people. Do you understand? Since last year. Do you understand? And they would start basically by July. Do you understand? Because up until June 30, 2025, they have stopped and they are not inviting people. But I never knew that the province of Yukon is going to actually send out a, what they call it, an article or like a news letter stating that they are going to start inviting. They are going to start inviting what? Inviting candidates, immigrants from anywhere you are, so far you actually meet the requirements, the eligibility criteria to actually get elected. And Yukon is a province that a lot of people don't really know about, one, because it's at the north of Ontario, or at the north of Canada, you understand? And second, people don't really want to go there that much because yes, it's considered colder than other, you understand, provinces. It's not the capital province, like where I am is not Ontario, so people don't always want to look into it. But if you are part of the people that want to migrate to Canada and you are not bothered about anywhere you are, so far you shall land in Canada, then Yukon is actually going to be a place that you would actually love. So I'm going to read out a, what they call it, a newsletter, or you understand, a news article that we got. And actually I kind of first read it on cicnews.com, and later on, you understand, I went on the Yukon website. So if you are someone that want to actually migrate to Canada this year 2025, you have to know that yes, provinces have started opening their doors. It may not be for long that they will open their doors. It may not be the amount of people that they were collecting or they were inviting before, because now there are stricter rules to who gets in, who have the opportunity of getting selected. Not everyone, that is another thing, I have to be truthful to you. Not everyone will be given that opportunity to actually move to provinces like Yukon and the others. So, but if you are part of the people that are interested, if you are part of the people that you don't mind coming to Canada through one pathway, and later on, once you come, you can now decide to, do you understand, either stay in that place if you enjoy it, or move to another place if you so wish, then you have to listen to this. The Yukon nominee program, do you understand? It's a type of provincial nominee program. Do you understand? Is one of the instances of provincial nominee programs, and this is a program that they stated that yes, they are going to be inviting people come January 29, 2025. So as early as January 20, just like I said, we were talking about the Quebec last week. We were saying that yes, they have shut their doors, they are going to be, and I was kind of telling people that if you still want to come to Canada, it's still possible, but you may have to plan ahead. You understand? Because yes, they are not picking people right now, but once you have the eligibility criteria already, when you are well qualified, you have your documentations sorted, you understand, before the time they start picking people, then you can have the opportunity to actually get selected when they finally actually get to be inviting. So as I said, I actually saw this through the Yukon through the CIC news about the Yukon nominee program, and I'll be showing you a snippet. Do you understand? Because I would like us to check it together. Do you understand? The newsletter article, or the news article rather, so that you learn about it and you are more informed. This was a news that actually came from what they call it now, which what they call it now, it came from December. Yes, it was a December 31st 2024 news. And look, if you notice what they said here, they said Yukon to implement intakes for Yukon nominee program applications in 2025. Do you understand? So basically what they are saying is that they have started, or they will soon start inviting, they will soon start collecting applications, they will soon start, you understand, allowing people to migrate into their country or into their province for this year 2025. So my question is, how prepared are you to actually benefit from the Yukon nominee program? Now let's look at what they say. They also stated that the government of Yukon is moving to an intake-based approach for applications to the Yukon nominee program, YNP. Do you understand? This is a new program. For many people that don't know it, it may be new to you. You understand? And they say that under its new intake-based approach, the Yukon nominee program, YNP, will accept a fixed number of applications in each intake. Now, what does that mean basically? What that means is that it's not everybody that they will even later take. It's not everybody, just like of course all the provinces, all the programs, it's not everybody cannot be eligible, one. Two, and not everybody will they focus, you understand, in giving the opportunity to come. But I'm going to read out some aspects of it for you so that you actually know quite alright what they mean. They say now, once the cap has been hit for a given intake, the YNP, which is the Yukon nominee program, will cease to accept applications until the following intake. Now look at this. They said on January 29, the YNP, the Yukon nominee program, will open with its first intake of 2025. So the first intake that they are going to be selecting is going to start on January 29, 2025. And well, this is already the 2nd of the 2nd of January 2025. So we have countdown to roughly 27 days. Do you understand? The question now is, how are you well prepared for that intake? How are you well prepared to actually have the opportunity to get selected around that time? Now they said the YNP, the Yukon nominee program, anticipate holding future intakes quarterly. Now look at that. They said quarterly. What they mean by that is within 2 to 3 months, that's when they are going to be taking people. So if you are not part of those that they will take around January, maybe you are not ready, you don't have the eligibility criteria, you may have to wait till like March or to April to actually get selected. So how well would you actually prepare to get selected this January? Or if it is not possible for you to get selected around March or April? Now that's very important. But as they said, the Yukon nominee program has not set a fixed schedule for the intakes. So we are just still speculating. If we say, okay, it is January, it is March, they will take the next intake, or it is April, they will take the next intake. But what we are sure of now, based on the news that they stated, you understand, or they sent, is that January 29, 2025 is when they will we are sure of that one. At least they said that on the news article that we just read. So if you are ready to take up the opportunity to get selected, because now look at something, I was saying something in the last live session we held, where I was talking about the fact that many people are not going to look into some of these programs. Many people, Quebec for instance, that I was talking about, thank you, I see some love emojis, really appreciate those that are sharing that. Now, Quebec, for instance, some people will say, oh, I cannot go there, I cannot speak French, I cannot do this, I cannot do this. But you may have spouses, common law partners, that you are going to come with that can speak French. It's not everybody in Quebec that speaks French. Do you understand? Yes, the majority speaks French, but that does not mean we don't have some selected minorities there. Now, that is for Quebec, because I was talking extensively about Quebec the last time. But now, we are seeing that Yukon is actually available for those who are willing to go. Even though, yes, it's in the northern part of Canada, yes, it is colder than other places, but it is human beings that are living there. It's not animals. So if human beings are living there, you too can what? You too can live there. You too can at least come into the country through that pathway and decide for yourself if you want to stay there or move later on. So the question I have for you is that who amongst you would love to actually be, you understand, invited? Who amongst you would like to be nominated? Who amongst you would like to immigrate to Yukon, the province of Yukon? Do you understand? The province of Yukon. If you would like to go there, just put it on the comment section, and I would actually get that from you. So some people may be asking that, where is Yukon located? We are still going to talk about the article. We'll still read more of the article, but you may want to be curious that, okay, in Canada, where exactly is Yukon? Where exactly is Yukon? And I want to actually show you a map of Canada and where people like us are, immigrants and us, and where you would like to, or you would most likely be when you finally land or you go to the province of Yukon. Now, the beauty of it is you can also browse it yourself. It's not compulsory I do that. But what I'm saying is, Yukon is just a province in Canada, and it is a province that it is also developed. Do you understand? Though it may not be as developed as the majority or most of the other parts of Canada, but that does not mean you cannot live there or it is not livable. Do you understand? So we want to look at okay, Google. Yes, I've seen it in Google. So for those who know the map of Canada, I'll show you right now the map of Canada. So if you look at this red place, this is where Yukon is. So it's at the tail end of the northern part, the northern western part of Canada. So if you look at it, Ontario is situated around this side. Do you understand? But this is Yukon at this red side. So I hope, let me go back a little so that if we can see the, I think I kind of saw. Okay, no, let me go back. Okay, someone is asking a question. I would love to, sir. Oh, okay, that's a comment. Musa species. That's good. So if you love to, then stick to actually learn what you need to actually focus on. So as they said, Yukon, YT, that is where it is. YT, okay, that's what I clicked the other time. So YT is at the northern western part of the country. This is where Ontario is. This is where Yukon, you understand, is. And if you look at what they said Yukon is the smallest, westernmost of Canada's territory. 3 territories. We have 3 territories in Canada, for those that know about the 3 territories. Now, the 3 territories, including Yukon, do you understand? Including Yukon, are places like, what they call it? Are places like, what they, let me check. Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon. Those are the 3 territories we have in Canada. Okay, before I continue reading, someone is asking, I would like to explore the opportunity as well. Ishola Yusuf Studio. Now, if you love to actually explore the opportunity, firstly, there are some requirements you need, and those requirements, I'm going to list them, or I'm going to recite them for you after we talk about the province of Yukon, because I want you to know the province of Yukon so that at least you know where you are going to. You are not just in the dark when it comes to understanding where that place is. You understand how the place is, because some people will be asking. I remember I received some comments, you understand, the other time when we were having a live session, that someone was asking me that Quebec, I thought it was a country on its own. No, it is not a country. Yes, they do a lot of things differently from the rest of Canada, but it is also a province in Canada. So likewise, Yukon too is also a province in Canada, and that's why we are talking about it today. So for those who would like to actually benefit from Yukon, you can always go on the link that I've shared, aos.name.ng/PR, for those who would like to actually learn about. That's our website, our Nigerian website. So you can always click on it, learn about PMPs in general, because sometimes you may see just one PMP, and yes, you are qualified for that PMP, but as we always tell people, sometimes we don't like putting all our eggs in one basket. So you may qualify for PR or for invitation under, do you understand, Yukon, and at the end of the day, you still actually qualify to other provinces as well, like Saskatchewan and places like that. So in order not to just focus on one place, you can actually spread your tentacles into 2-3 provinces, and anyone that selects you there, you just go. That was what I did, for those who actually know my story. Now let's move on. We were talking about Yukon, and I said I wanted to read this short article on Wikipedia. You can always check Wikipedia, everybody has access to the internet, but let me just read a little snippet for you. They say Yukon is the smallest and westernmost of Canada's 3 territories. And I told you the 3 territories are Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Nunavut. So it's the westernmost and the smallest. And they are now saying it is the most densely populated of the 3 territories, with an estimated population of 46,948 people as of 2024, which was the last year we just went through. Now, though it has a smaller population than all provinces, so the population is very small. Do you understand? So some people may want to say it is a rural community or rural area, but it depends on how you see it fit. Now they said White Horse, the territorial capital, is the largest settlement in any of the 3 territories. So the capital city, which is Whitehorse, that is the largest settlement in the province of Yukon and many of the, what they call it, territorial locations. So what am I saying? They said although officially bilingual, English and French, the Yukon government recognizes first language. Okay, so basically there too you can also speak English and you can speak French, though from what we see here, the language division shows that more of English is spoken there, you understand, than French. So with that, you don't have any issues to also acclimatize with people in that particular locality. Now, we're not going to go into the history or anything, we don't need to bore you with that. But basically, what we are trying to say is Yukon is also a place that is livable. A lot of people, you heard that thousands of people, tens of thousands of people are also living there right now. So it is not a place that you feel it is only animals that are there, or you understand, there are other people too living there just like you too. So English are the people that are more there. There are more English people, about 30% of them that are there are 30% of them are English by ethnic group. But even not only by ethnic group, we also have more people speaking English there than, you understand, as they said 82.9% of people in Yukon are actually speaking English. So because why I'm saying this is some people are saying, oh, Quebec, they are more of French people, how will I survive there, how will I do this there? If you want to go to an English-based province, an English-speaking province, Yukon is a place that you can go to. Do you understand? Because based on the census of 2011 census, they said English people are about 82.9% there. They may even be more now, or they may be less now. But what we are trying to say is more people are English there speaking than every other. And French now, the French are just about 4.3%. They are not as much as English. So you can actually live there as an English speaking person and not have any issues, you understand, in that particular province. So I hope we have been able to explain the country, you understand, the country's province of Yukon. And if you have any questions, drop it on the comment section. I would also be responding to it as we're taking this live session. So let's move on. We were talking about the Yukon implementing intakes for the Yukon nominee program applications, and some of you said you are interested already, so you can go on our website aos.name.ng/PR to actually get started, to learn about how to work on it. Some of you can want to do it yourself. You can go through the DIY process. Of course, the DIY process, the guidelines are there. We have the steps to follow, the steps right from you getting your documents ready from you actually writing your language test and getting your experience and everything. Those information are there. You can always go on that you understand, that website to learn more about what you need to do and how to go about it yourself. And if you want any assistance through any of partners, then we can also assist you on that limelight. Now, moving on, we are saying that the YNP, the Yukon Nominee Program, intends to adjust the size and frequency of its intakes based on the allocation of nominations it receives from the Canadian federal government. Now, what do they mean by that? What they mean by that is that they are going to be changing, you understand, the number of people they are inviting and how often they are inviting. How often they are inviting people. Now, some people may not understand this, you understand, in context. What this means, if, for instance, you are someone that know about Yukon, you know that it is a province that doesn't really, doesn't really draw in people that much. You understand? It doesn't really have a lot of people it is inviting. Like for the last part of the years and other parts, they don't do it as frequent. You understand? They don't invite people as frequent like other provinces. Do you understand? And if you go on the Yukon website, how will you know? Just go on Yukon, YUKON.ca. If you go on the Yukon website yourself and you go on that aspect that says the draws or the people that they invite, you will see that they don't really invite people that much. Do you understand? But that may be about to change. Do you understand? It may be about to change because they said based on the allocations of the federal government of Canada, they may be inviting or they may be adjusting their size or frequency. In this news article, they didn't tell us if they will be increasing it or if they will be reducing it. But what they are trying to say is that they are going to be adjusting it. So if you are someone that wants to get invited, if you want to have the opportunity to come into Canada through the province of Yukon, then you have to actually be keeping abreast of the news and the information that are being shared on the Yukon website. And the beauty of it is, if you go on the Yukon website again, Yukon, YUKON.ca, you can always send them questions, you understand, about immigration through yukon.nominee@yukon.ca. You understand? Or even call them if you are in Nigeria, or even if you are abroad, you can use international numbers that are on their website. But basically, even if you are sending any emails or messages or calling, they can't, of course, pick you online. They can't pick you on phone or pick you on email. They would always have the ways they go through their applications and the way they expect you to actually go through their applications. So now, let's now talk about the Yukon Nominee Program. Because yes, we have been saying they are going to start up the application process. But what do you need to know basically when you are focusing on the Yukon Nominee Program? Now, they said the Yukon Nominee Program is the flagship program. That means it's the major program, you understand, for issuing territorial nominations, which allows foreign nationals, people that are from abroad, do you understand? Foreign nationals to apply for what? For Canadian permanent residence. So it is basically a program that is meant for you, people that are outside Canada, or it may be even people that are already inside Canada, but people that don't already have their permanent residence status already. So if, for instance, you are an international student, if you are a foreign temporary worker, you understand, you may actually also be qualified to apply under this program. So thank you, Super Knob. Okay, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. I see some love emojis there on TikTok. Thank you very much as well. Now, what are we saying? We said the Yukon Nominee Program, YNP, is an employer-led program focused on filling labor market needs. Now, this is very important, very, very important. They said it is an employer-led program focused on what? Filling labor market needs. That means, as I said, it is not everybody that will qualify for it. You understand? And it is not the only program you can qualify for. Because some people will feel, once I'm not qualified for this, then I cannot be qualified for. No, it doesn't work that way. Do you understand? If you don't qualify for this program, there may be other programs you are qualified for. And that's why we don't just always talk about Yukon alone or talk about Quebec alone or other places. There are various provincial nominee programs. If you don't qualify for this, you may also qualify for others. So you can go on our website, aos.nim.ng, you understand, to learn about the programs you are qualified for and how you can apply to those, you understand, particular programs. So now let's move on about that of the Yukon. They are telling us that to apply for the territorial nomination under the Yukon nominee program, a foreign national and their employer must complete the application together. So that means you need to basically have someone that is willing to assist you, you understand, to actually work on that your nomination. Now, they said if the application is successful, the foreign national will receive a nomination from Yukon, which can allow them to apply to the Canadian federal government for permanent residence. So for those who know, if you are well abreast with how nominations work, provincial nominations, do you understand? You would most likely get a nomination from the province, but it is not the province that would issue you your permanent residence. It's the federal government of Canada that would issue you your permanent resident status. You understand? So just like, for instance, someone is asking, do you want Rosa? Do you want Rosa? What do you mean by do I want Rosa? I don't really understand that. If you would explain yourself, really appreciate that. So someone is okay. I was now saying, for those that actually know my own story, you know that I came into Canada, you understand, through the Ontario nominee program. It was not Ontario nominee program gave me a nomination. They invited me to come to Canada. Do you understand? But they weren't the one that gave me my permanent resident status. The federal government of Canada is the one that is in charge of actually granting permanent resident status to foreign nationals. But the province will just aid your immigration to Canada, because once they can give you a nomination, you understand, a nomination letter, most times it is almost certain that you would actually be invited, you understand. If the nominee program is linked to express entry, you will always be invited to, you understand, apply for permanent residence through your express entry profile. Because of course, for those that know, once you are given a nomination by a province, you will have additional 600 points in the in the express entry profile. Thank you very much, Henry. You sent 2025 times 1. Thank you very much for that. It is sticker now. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thanks very much for that. So, as I'm saying, for that of the Yukon and other provinces, once you get that nomination letter or that nomination certificate, just like we got, do you understand, in Canada, by the Ontario immigrant nominee program, then far back 2022, they would give you an additional 600 points. That 600 points will now be used, you understand, or will be added to your express entry points, your CRS, your cumulative ranking system score. It will. Just also sent a gift. Thank you very much, Just. Really appreciate that. I see the gifts that you sent to me. Really appreciate that. Now, what I'm saying is that you would also get that 600 points, and with that 600 points, with that you'll be able to apply for permanent residence. Do you understand? When I got my own 600 points, I remember that time in Ontario, under Ontario immigrant nominee program, when I applied under Ontario nominee program, because they invited me under the express entry, you understand, through my express entry profile, it took me some time to actually get their own applications, because I did 2 applications actually. I did an application directly to the Ontario government, and after that application to the Ontario government, do you understand, they issued me my nomination certificate through the express entry profile. And with that, I think the CRS point I had then was about 493. Do you understand? It was 493 because, again, it was not only me that came. I and my common law partner actually came together. Do you understand? We came together under the immigrant nominee program. So that's another cue for you, another tip for you. If you want to come into Canada, you may have your spouses, your common law partners, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you understand, anybody that you have a conjugal relationship with. Do you understand? then you can actually come with that person, whether be it a boy or a girl, you understand, you can actually come with that person, and that person, you understand, can further boost your points. Because I remember when I was doing it alone, I didn't have many points, I didn't have much points, but because I and my common law partner, we kind of teamed up together, do you understand, because we're in a conjugal relationship, we teamed up together to actually make it work. And when she took her own language test, I also took my own language test, we were able to get additional points under the express entry profile. So if you are someone that has a mate too, you can also use that person to actually boost up your points. Thank you. I'm seeing some love images on Instagram. Thank you very much for those actually sharing them with me. Now, so what I'm saying is, once you get the nomination, if the provincial nominee program is linked to express entry, you have 600 additional points that will most likely guarantee you your permanent residence application under the federal government. Do you understand? If it is not linked to express entry, if it is just a sole, you understand, provincial nominee program, you would also be able to apply to for permanent residency directly towards the federal government. But what I want you to take note from all what I'm saying is this: provincial nominee programs. You know, I made use of an analogy the last time I talked. You understand? Last time we had a live session, I said a lot of people are focused on express entry, especially the main programs, the major programs of express entry. They are focused on federal skilled worker program, focused on federal skilled trades program, focused on Canadian experience class programs. Do you understand? But they don't know that there are some backdoor programs. You understand? People that even know, some people that know self don't take it serious. There are some backdoor programs. There are some programs that you will not be focused, or you will not be having to compete with everybody that are focused on the express entry pool. Do you understand? Rather, what you would actually have is to get selected from provinces that would more or less assure you of getting your permanent residence. Now, someone is saying, okay, Bolanle Olaoleye is saying that if someone wants to do Canada visa, how many months will it take? Well, thank you very much, Bolanle Olaoleye, for that question. That's a nice one. Well, when it comes to permanent residence, when it comes to, okay, because you just mentioned visa, you didn't mention if it is permanent residence you are referring to. Do you understand? And I would say it generally. I would, since you didn't specify if it is permanent residence or any other program, I would say generally in terms of talking about the various programs people ask for. So I'll talk about study permits, I'll talk about work permits, I'll talk about visitor visa, and I'll end it to permanent residence. So first, oh, okay, yeah, Bolanle is saying permanent. Oh, fine. So if it is permanent residence, for permanent residence, that's what they call the economic immigration. You understand? Because you are coming to actually fulfill a particular economic need. Do you understand? Now, for the one that I'm talking about today, which is that of the Yukon nominee program, do you understand? Which is under provincial nominee programs. Do you understand? If you want to actually come to Canada through that, if you want to use that as a pathway, based on the Canadian immigration website, so it's not that I'm just saying this, based on the last updated timing, how long it will take, based on the last updated timing, it states that for economic immigration provincial nominees, for those that are linked to express entry, it will take 6 months. Do you understand? It will take 6 months. 6 months. Now, those that are not linked to express entry, okay, it will take how many months? It will take 13 months. It will take 13 months. Now, some people may want to ask me, what's the difference between the one that is linked to express entry and the one that is not linked to express entry? Now, it's very simple. Any program that they say that you have to have an express entry pool, even though they may not focus solely on it, but you have to have an express entry profile rather, and add up the express entry profile number. Do you understand? When you are creating maybe your expression of interest, or when you are creating your application, that is what the one that is linked to what express entry. The one that is not linked to express entry is the one that, you understand, it will not ask you for those kind of information. But again, what I'm saying is, whether be the one that is linked to express entry or the one that is not linked to express entry, many a times it is not even good for you to just focus on one province. Do you understand? We have had situations of people getting invited. I am a particular example of someone. I got invited under Ontario, I got invited under Quebec. Do you understand? And just like in this scenario, I saw that, oh, Ontario, as at then, Ontario Immigration Nominee Program, it took me 5 months. As at then, oh, it can change now, I don't know. You understand? As at then. So, it took me 5 months. Do you understand? So, what I just focused on is the one that took me 5 months. If I had gone for the Quebec nominee program or the Quebec skilled worker program, it could have taken me more time. Do you understand? Because that one, as at now, it will take you, as what they stated here, it will take you 13 months for the Quebec skilled worker program. Do you understand? As at now, but I didn't want to wait that long, basically, because if you are coming to Canada, many people always want sharp to come to Canada. Do you understand? So me, I didn't want to wait that long, basically. So if you are part of someone called a phone number, that's what I'm asking. So okay, sorry about that. I was talking to my common law partner. So for those who want to actually work on provincial nominee programs, if you want to work on provincial nominee program, one of the best advice, because it's worked for me, you understand, so one of the best suggestions I can give you is, yes, you can apply to Yukon, you can apply to, don't just focus on one province, basically. I, for instance, when I was doing my own, I focused on 4 different provinces, and I do always say it every opportunity I get, because sometimes you may get invited, do you understand, by a province. Sometimes another province may not invite you. That does not mean you are not qualified for another province. Do you understand? I applied to 4 provinces then. I remember that I applied to Saskatchewan because, of course, it's one of the most easy provinces to apply for, even though they didn't pick me. So sometimes it being easy itself does not mean that you'll be invited. That's another idea. If you see provinces that are easy, sometimes for you, it depends on people. Now, for my own particular scenario, it depends on people. For my own particular scenario, the easy one, I didn't get selected to it. Do you understand? Even though Ontario was not difficult, it was not difficult per se, you understand? But I just needed to upskill my game. I needed to, you understand, get more documentations. You understand? I didn't just have the English language proficiency. I had to actually, you understand, thank God I started learning French. I had to master my French language, and I had to write French examinations. Do you understand? And I didn't just write one, you understand, because I had to prepare well for it. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are someone that wants to actually benefit from a wide array of opportunities, don't just focus on one province. Don't focus on one. I focused on Saskatchewan. I focused on Prince Edward Island. That's another beautiful province in the northern part or the rural area of Canada. And sometimes I even tell people, funny enough, that even what we call the rural area in Canada is far better than some urban cities in some other countries. So if I'm saying rural, don't mean or don't think that, oh, this rural area, it is not going to be good, it's not going to be clean. People are living there, just like Yukon, as I've told you as well. People are living there, people are enjoying there, and you understand. So I focused on Ontario, I focused on Prince Edward Island, I focused on Quebec skilled worker program, you understand, under the ARIMA portal. Do you understand? And what was the last one, Sif? What was the last one? I forgot it again. I said Ontario, Saskatchewan, Prince Edward Island, and Quebec. Yes, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Prince Edward Island, and you understand? Ontario. So basically, if you want to actually get to learn, because we just talked about Yukon, because that's the news that we just got now, based on what I read to you on the CIC News website. That is the province that has stated that it will start inviting people starting from 29th of January, 2025. Do you understand? But it may not be only that province that will be selecting people. Do you understand? So you have to get ready, you have to get set, you have to be well grasped on what are other provinces also requiring. And sometimes it may shock you that, yes, what Ontario needs is also what Saskatchewan needs. I remember when I applied for my own, it's not that you have to do a different set of, or get a different set of documentation for another province. The same thing that a province, the province of Ontario in my own case, needed was the same thing Saskatchewan needed, was the same thing Prince Edward Island. So it was much more easier for me to apply to 3-4 provinces based on my own eligibility criteria. So that's what I always tell people, that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Basically, that's a popular quote people always say, but sometimes I ask people, I have consultations with people, clarity calls with people, and you just see them that they'll say, yes, it's express entry, that I've been on express entry, okay, I was not able to create express entry profile. Sometimes you may not be able to create express entry profile, but yes, you have the opportunity to actually create an expression of interest under a province. And some people have gotten selected that way without even focusing on express entry. Now, Anyike Ade was asking, what documentations does Yukon need? Good question. Again, that's why we were talking about our, you understand, website, that you should go on our website, aos.name.ng, to get the full list. I'll still talk about it here, you understand, but again, to get all the details, because for every person, the detail they need may be slightly different for everybody, depending on the credentials you already have or the one you can get. For instance, I talked about that of Ontario, you understand, but Ontario too has its own different documentation. So let's check the Yukon. What are the documents that they said that they need? And I'm on the Yukon website. For those that don't know the Yukon website, you can also go on the Yukon website. Yukon is spelled as YUKON, YUKON.ca. You understand? And just click on that part that says immigration or immigrate to the Yukon. Now, look at this. They said one of the requirements, okay, the eligibility criteria. Yes, they said eligibility criteria for Yukon. The first thing you need, as they said, they gave us two types of requirements. They gave us the worker eligibility and the employer eligibility. If you remember, I was talking about in the article that I read that both you and your employer have to actually work on the application. So for your own part of eligibility, to qualify, the personal eligibility for you, wow, it's listed, it's a lot, but let me just pray we were able to. Now, for those who don't know, Yukon allows you to come in basically in two ways. Do you understand? Either through what we know as the employer or the worker stream, or the business stream. Do you understand? So let's talk about that of the personal eligibility before we talk about that of the business eligibility. What it means basically is that some of you may say, okay, yes, I have a job, or I want to get a job in Yukon and work towards the personal eligibility. Some of you may say, okay, no, I want to set up a business in Yukon. Do you understand? I own a business in my home country and I want to come and set up a business. So they have a separate, you understand, application, a separate eligibility for that of the, you understand, for that of the Yukon business. Now, for the personal eligibility, they say, one, you must achieve a score of at least 65 points on the assessment grid. And that is why, again, I told you that you may have to go on their website, or go on our website where we explained everything in details, and you understand, learn what you do once you go on their website. 65 points on the assessment grid. For those that know how provincial nominee programs work, any province that has what we know as expression of interest, EOI profile, just like the express entry profile, you have to create an expression of interest profile on in that particular province, and that particular province has its own numberings, has its own point system, its own point-based system. And that point-based system will say that, okay, like in the case of Saskatchewan, they say if you have 60 points, that's the minimum you'll be able to create an expression of interest profile. For Yukon now, their own is not 60 points, their own is 65 points. And how would you gather those points? That's the question. How will you gather those points is, number one, to have at least a high school diploma. Do you understand? A high school diploma. What is a high school diploma? WAEC in Nigeria, West African education certificate. Now, note, they will tell you minimum, they will tell you at least, but if you have more than the minimum, you stand a better chance. Let me break it down to you. If you have other diplomas, like national tertiary diploma, you understand, like the one they call OND, ordinary national diploma, you stand a better chance than someone that has just WAEC. Do you understand? If you have a higher national diploma, do you understand? You stand a higher chance than someone that just has only OND or someone that just has only WAEC. If you have BSc, you stand a better chance than someone that has OND. Sometimes people that have OND and HND, they have better chances sometimes than someone that has only BSc. Some people don't know that. Do you understand? So, because most times, especially under express entry, some people will see that very well under express entry pool. There's something they call dual certificates or double certifications. Do you understand? But bachelor's is just one certification. They just categorize it under one. So whether you go to school and study for 4 years or 5 years, it's just. But someone that has OND and HND, that person will be given dual certification. And of course, WAEC doesn't categorize as tertiary education. So you cannot say, okay, yes, I have WAEC and I have BSc. It doesn't work that way. You understand? You can't have points for that one. But what I'm trying to tell you is the more points you can get depend on the more qualifications you have academically. Now that's the first requirement. And for those that are focused on business, if you're an entrepreneur, you understand, if your business requires more education, do you understand, then you need to actually get more education. For instance, you want to set up a farming, what do you call it, because those places like province of Yukon, I believe they will have a lot of farmlands there for those that want to set up businesses. So if you want to operate a farmland, for instance, you need to have, you understand, credential documents that shows that yes, you have studied how farming works, you have that knowledge, you understand, that ability to actually do what you say you want to do. Now that's the first requirement. The second requirement to use to get other points is to have at least 3 years of what? Of entrepreneurial or business management experience. Now for those that want to set up a business, if you want to set up a business, you need to have at least 3 years of entrepreneurial or business management experience. If you don't have business, you need to have at least 5 years of work experience that is related to what you want to do. You understand, whether your business or your employment. Now, sometimes the more experience you have, the better your chances. Do you understand? Someone that has 3 years experience, yes, would be good. Someone that has 5 years experience, yes, it would be good. But if you are someone that now has like 15 years experience, you know you are Baba. You are more than someone that has just what? Just 3 years or 5 years experience. Do you understand the idea? Now, moving on. They said, of course, you are not going to be a refugee, you understand, or have an active request for refugee status with the government of Canada. Now, what that means is that for people that are already in Canada, that maybe they came in as a visitor, or they came in as what? As a student, or they came in as a temporary foreign worker, you will not be able to apply under Yukon if you have already gone Kawasaki. You know, and the word Kawasaki, that they say go and Kawasaki and say that yes, you want to do asylum, you want to do refuge. You will not be able to actually apply if you have an active application as a what? As a refugee claimant. So please note that. Also, they said if you have never been denied, you must never have been denied immigration by the government of Canada. Now, this is important. If you have applied before and you got denied, you understand, immigration, you may not have the opportunity to actually come into Yukon again because they don't want people that have been denied or people that have been rejected before. And you have no active applications for any other provincial authoritarian nominee programs. Now, people don't understand this. When they say you have no active applications for any other, they don't mean that you are not meant to have a profile. Because I remember when we were doing one of our friends too that was actually working on his was saying that no, Shebi, it's just as much I do. I don't need to do any other province, or I don't have to. I'm not allowed to do files. You understand? Profile does not mean that you have been selected. It is after you have submitted that profile, after they have done what we know as a draw, you understand, or round of invitation, that is when they will select you. If they not select you, if you approve that invitation, if you accept that invitation, You understand? That is when they will expect you to start creating an application. And some people, they have invited some people before, but they didn't what accept it. If you denied, you understand, an invitation, then you don't have an application already. You just have a profile with them. So what it means is that you can still have the opportunity to apply on that Yukon if you don't have an active, if you have not been selected by by a provincial or territorial nominee program, and if you have not accepted it. Now, moving on, because it happened to me, and that's why maybe I should just chip in that. And a typical example for my own particular scenario is that I remember when Ontario picked me. It didn't take long for Quebec to also pick me. You understand? But I just had a profile under Quebec. Do you understand? So that profile didn't affect my Ontario what profile. And when I was now creating, or when I accepted that of Ontario, you understand, and I started working on the application of Ontario, and that of the Quebec came in, I didn't need to actually focus on that of Quebec again. If I wanted to focus on that of Quebec, I would have said, okay, let me close the application of Ontario and pursue that of Quebec. But I preferred Ontario, so I continued that of Ontario and I denied, you understand, I didn't accept the invitation of Quebec. So I hope you understand that. Now, for those who are in business, they said you need to have a net worth of at least 500,000 Canadian dollars and you have adequate documentation to get that verified. That is for business owners, those that want to go into business. Now, and yes, have a minimum of 300,000 in liquid assets, including cash, bonds, and cash derivatives. Yes, for those going through the business aspect of it. Now, and you intend, another requirement is you intend to permanently live in Yukon. Do you understand? Just like all other provinces also have that, your intention to live, you understand, in Yukon. Now, you have to agree to live in the Yukon with dependents if applicable, while managing or investing in your own business in Yukon. So, for instance, if you want to set up a business as well, you'll see you need to be willing to live with who are your dependents, your common law partner, and your children if you have any of them. Do you understand? So there are a lot of other requirements, but those are the major ones. Do you understand? And they say yes, you hold a position in your business or in the national occupation classification NOC tier 0 or tier 1. Yes, for those that want to set up a business. But if you don't want to set up a business, you understand, you would have to work with an employer. Do you understand? And an employer that would basically assist you to, you understand, come into Canada. You understand, through the Yukon nominee program. So just like they said the Yukon nominee program accepts applications for nominee candidates both inside and outside Canada. Do you understand? So you don't need to be in Canada to actually qualify for Yukon nominee program. Then I said to qualify for the Yukon nominee program, you must, for those that are workers, you must have a full-time and year-round job offer from an eligible Yukon employer and meet the specific criteria of your application stream if you are under the worker eligibility. And they said to qualify, and of course you are not eligible if you are also inadmissible to Canada. Who are people that are inadmissible to Canada? They are people that have maybe fatal illnesses and there will be a strain on the on the financial resources of Canada, you understand, to take care of their health. Or is for someone, someone is saying a guest is trying to actually join us on TikTok, and I didn't see that, I just saw that right now. And again, you may be inadmissible to Canada if again they stated, or you stated that you would what, you stated that you have any criminal record. You understand, a criminal record that shows that they would not really like to have you, you understand, in Canada. So that's the concept of inadmissibility to Canada. So if you have any questions, thank you. I think Bolanli was one that asked those criteria. Okay, no, Ayinke Adi was the one that asked those Ayinke Adi was the one that asked those have years of experience. You need to letter, do you understand, a reference letter to show that yes, you have worked in this particular niche. For those that have a job offer as well, you need to have a valid job offer letter, you understand, from a Yukon employer. Do you understand? For those that don't have a real refugee status, yes, you active application, so you have no documentations to show for that. And for those that want to have experience in managerial or entrepreneurial experience, you have to show, you understand, proof that you have set with or you were working for as a manager, or you understand. Comment section would do justice to responding to it before we call it a day. We have about roughly 5 minutes more, do you understand, to actually round this up. Now, don't forget, you can also as well go on our website aos.name.ng to actually learn about the immigration pathways. Do you understand? The more immigration pathways, as I said, you apply to, the better your chances to actually also, you understand, immigrate. So Akim Olawale Sugar was asking, is it possible to get PR from Nigeria with OND? Well, Akim, just like I said before, it's very much possible. It's very much possible. Do you understand? The more credentials you have, though, the better your chances. But someone that has a WIC, for instance, you are better than that person because you have OND already. Do you understand? You have OND. If you have other credentials that we mentioned right now, you have your certificate, of course, your OND certificate, your transcript, you send your transcript to Canada for evaluation through WES, you understand, and they level it apart with what they have in Canada, that yes, what you have as OND2 is approved as OND in Canada, then that is number one plus. You have years of experience working, maybe 3 years or 4 years or 5 years of experience working, that's a plus for you. If, of course, as well, you also take your language examinations. Now, that's another thing we didn't mention, you understand, before. Because Yukon is an English country, English province, English speaking province, they have to know that you can speak English. And sometimes it is not only about you saying, yes, I can speak English now. No, you have to be willing to take a language examination. Whether be it, some people will ask me, is IELTS compulsory? I say, no, it is not compulsory. You can write any of the 3 examinations, IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE core examination. And of course, we train people for those examinations. And if you want to get trained on it, you can go on our website, aos.name.ng/PR. You understand, to learn about all those what they call it, all those online, all those language tests. We can take you online virtual trainings, test preparation to prepare you well for it. Now, someone that has an English based test result is good. Yes, it is a plus for that person. But another person that has a French test result too is also a plus for them than someone that has English. You understand? The more points you can have, just like I said, the better your chances to actually get selected. You understand? Easily. So, okay, Akim Wale said, thank you. God bless you, sir. Yeah, God bless you too. Thank you very much from TikTok. Really. So, French, you understand, to stand a better chance. So if you want to actually stand a better chance to, you can also learn French, you understand. And of course, we teach people French, and we can help you prepare for French language examinations like TEF Canada, like TCF Canada, like DELF-DAF examination. DELF-DAF is only approved or is only accepted in Quebec, but TEF and TCF is accepted in all other provinces of Canada. And funny enough, with the emphasis of people of Canada needing a lot of PR people that are French speaking, it will not surprise me if I hear tomorrow that DELF and DAF exams are now being accepted by other provinces. I may not be shocked, do you understand, to actually see that. I hope that we pray to actually get that. So someone is asking, Ayinke Ade from Instagram is asking, do all provinces require language-based tests? Good question. In a nutshell, when it comes to permanent residence, yes, all provinces require language-based tests. But when you are coming in as a student, coming in as a visitor, coming in as a temporary foreign worker, you may not need to actually get any, you understand, language-based test. Do you understand? Thank you very much for that question. Really appreciate that. Now, so Fields is saying, can I join the live quickly? Of course, you can join the live quickly anytime you see us online. As we say, every week, at least once a week, we always like to come online. You understand, to answer your questions. You understand, so you can always be joining weekly as you see us actually come online. So thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate you joining. If you have not liked our session, if you have not liked our channel, please like right now. You understand? Follow us if you have not followed. You understand? Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to this account, and always come back for more tips and more guidelines and more news about how Canada immigration is actually working for other people and how you too can actually benefit from it. So thank you very much. Do share this with your friends and your family if you see that more people actually need this. We need more and more people to actually get to you understand, learn from this. We need more and more people to benefit from this. Oh, okay, we are getting another question. So Ayinke Ade is asking, so I did a diploma in insurance, had bachelor degree, evaluated them already. Beautiful, beautiful. That's a very good one. Very good step. Now that is it. Some people will say, okay, bachelor's is more than diploma, so it is only bachelor's I did. That's wrong. You are shooting yourself on the leg. Do you understand? Evaluate both your diploma and your bachelor's. You see that scenario now? It is the two you have to evaluate. Via West left with writing IELTS. Congratulations, welcome. Well done. That's welcome. Well done, Ayinke Ade. That's a very good one. So it's very good. You can evaluate that. You get 12 certificates. 12 I said 12. Where's 12? Dual
Wow.
certificates. Two scores for the both. So that's a very good one. So what's the next step? You have said it already now. You said left with writing IELTS. That's your next step. Do you understand?
So I have a question.
The
Can I
other
quickly ask my
IELTS,
question?
that's your next step. You understand? So do that, and if you want to learn more steps to also A.O.S. Do you understand? All other very good one done. That's a very nice one. Keep
Can
up
I
good work.
ask my
So
question before you go?
A.O.S. Do you understand? All other very good one done. That's a very nice one. Keep
Can
up
I
good work.
ask my
So
question before you go?
we call it a day. We're almost rounding off.
Your network
All
is
right.
yeah, yeah. Can I quickly ask my
So thank
question?
you very much, everyone, for joining.
Oh my god, the
Hope
network.
you have a nice day ahead. Thank you, and bye for now. We have really spent a lot of time. Bye for now. Don't forget to like and share and don't forget to like and share and